Look, I'm sorry, okay? I was on holiday. It was out of my control. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Myteam on this channel. F1 23 is coming back at you on all your screens, just as you like it. We are back. I was actually on holiday. I'm sorry. I went to Italy, though. I was soaking up the sun, enjoying the voluptuous views. Stop it. Don't you dare. But because of my Indian blood, you'll be pleased to know that I came back just as white as I left. Anyways, picking up where we left off and picking up with an actually decent microphone volume. We advance forwardwards, we advance and we get our plank upgrade, our chassis upgrade, and we get some more Munty. So we look at our upgrades, because I was eyeing up getting another one. Chassis, thought about it, don't have the resource points currently. Looked at aero, can't do that because my department has skill issues. And then durability I'm not going to do, powertrain isn't possible either. So we have to stave off doing upgrades for now. I wish my plane got an upgrade. Oh, sorry, F1. We're here at the race weekend. We skip forwards, we're not driving supercars. And look at this, we are back at the, Look, what I'm trying to say is that this weekend is going to thrust us into prime opportunities for extra points. As you can see, our engine isn't too warm. We are currently sitting at a decent acclaim level, but quite a way off still, getting our first sponsor. Currently 5th in the driver's standings. Just going to soak that one in there with a fastest lap to our name as well. So as we advance through to the race weekend, it's a 50% race for this weekend, as I explained in episode 1. And then we'll see what happens from there. There may be some surprises in store. Here we are for the Cereal Spoon Grand Prix. Let's go to practice and see how we did. No, I don't think I will. Hopefully you understood that reference, just like this man did. But as you can see, we're going to look for our development boosts that we are going to get. A bunch to the chassis and the powertrain and durability, which I don't care about, so stop giving me it. Anyway, we preview the rest of the weekend then. Practice was actually quite decent. We looked to be on good pace, just as we were in Bahrain. Of course, qualifying is a different kettle of fish. Over one lap, we weren't as strong as we were in race pace. So we better make sure that we actually propel ourselves up as far as we can, even with our own qualifying limitations. Getting our acclaim then. 6 is the number of brain cells our teammate has, because he's so far off us, it's not even funny. But as you can see, we've got a really good haul of resource points. Massive. 1,800 of them. And where I see Munty, I see... Actually, stop. We deploy our Munty on a chassis upgrade, and we really ravage our resources further by getting ourselves a gearbox durability upgrade as well, because it had a decent discount on it. Our departments are looking okay. We're slowly climbing our way up the chassis climbing frame, I suppose, to give it its alliterative term. Aero we thought about, but nothing doing there because department issues. Anyway, qualifying time. Here we are at Jeddah. My voice is gonna stop. I've incinerated all the throgs in my throat. As you can see, that beautiful specimen of a car there is looking like it's going to really crank up the heat. And let's see what we can do here in the Middle East for some marvel or madness. That is for you and I to find out. Across the line here for our first session in qualifying, because it's a 50% race, we have all 3 qualifying sessions. So we need to get out of Q1 first. Hopefully that won't be too much of a problem in our Ribena Racing romper. So through the first sector we go, getting as close to that wall as we dare. The car biting in really nicely at the front, really making the most of our setup as well, where we've prioritised front downforce, but also a little bit more towards straight line speed. In Bahrain, I feel like we could have got away with higher downforce a bit more. Here we need to really get that straight line speed just a little bit so that we don't fall too far behind, because DRS trains here are, well, first class really. Look at the catering they have on a race day. Across the line we go though, and it's P7. Wow, that's a start and a half, and we don't even need to set another lap, because despite setting only 1 lap, we're P9. That's fantastic news. We're beating both Aston Martins. Even Fernando Alonso has been stumped by our sensational pace. And so out for Q2 we go. We leave it late, but we are exiting the pit lane right now as we look to, well, continue our crusade, is the term I'll use, as we start our lap in qualifying 2, hoping to make our way up into Q3 and up with the big boys here in Saudi Arabia. Turns 1 and 2 are formality as they were before, and here into Sector 1, once again, we get as close to that wall as we dare. In fact, extend the curb a tiny bit, but it's not going to overdo it, and it's not going to be a detriment to the rest of our divine lap here. Getting close to that wall, we actually brush it with our front left tyre, so hopefully that hasn't caused any repercussions in terms of front wing damage or anything like that. Luckily, it seems like everything is okay as we open the DRS. Engineer confirms no damage at all. By the way, the reason I didn't show the Q1 results is because, really, what did you expect of my teammate? He's not God, okay? In fact, he's not even that good. Anyway, look, we crossed the line, and it's going to be a tense moment here. We're through. We are through. We are into qualifying 3. At the first time of asking, the FIA deploy their new qualifying system, and still, they cannot shackle this specimen of a human being. As we go to P9 and enter qualifying number 3. Lando Norris, by the way, massive underachievement from him. He goes P14, where in qualifying 1 it seems so promising for him, but unfortunately that pace will not carry over. He will not continue his crusade up the field. It ends for him in Q2. Of course, the big boys are still all through. Alpine's Esteban Ocon will be a bit disgruntled, his teammate up in P8. In the Alpine. I did not expect to get into Q3, by the way. That is beautiful pace from us. And really, I had a choice to make. Do I go out, or do I stay in and save my engine? Do I use my intergalactic brain? Can confirm I've used my intergalactic brain. We simmed all the way through the session, and as you can see, Charles Leclerc currently on pole position with his first time. Brilliant stuff from the Ferrari driver. Perhaps, no, he's not. No, never mind. Why do I bother? It's downright depression for most of the grid as Max Verstappen takes another pole position. As you can see, well, if you've seen the last to first challenge, you'll know he literally cannot be prized away from it whatsoever. But it's no different today. He goes on pole position for Ferrari 2-3 though, and the rest of the top 3, Mercedes and Sergio Perez, not too far behind. So there is a bit of hope in this very, very dark void of despair. But for us, P10, I basically didn't bother. I mean, with our Q2 time, I think we actually could have gone ahead of Gasly and Stroll, but it's fine. I don't really mind about that. But here's some good news. We're level 5 in Acclaim now, which means we can get our first secondary sponsor on the car. The number 6 now represents the pace stat of my teammate. One absolute melon head. I can't believe that he didn't manage to get out of Q1. You know, the midfield is so close, by the way. You see on the performance index at the beginning. It's literally neck and neck. It's unbelievable. But as I stare at my computer screen here before race day, it's our first 50% race of the season. Coffee mug to my right. I hate coffee, so it's obviously not coffee. Don't be stupid. Our wireless headset as well, because, I mean, we got P5 in Bahrain. We're a big deal. But hopefully, we can continue our great progress that we had in Sakhir. Will it be sensational in Saudi Arabia? There's only one way to find out. It's race day, and it's the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world. Jeddah, one of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca. One of the biggest ports in the region, and now host to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Stroll, Grim Reaper, Ocon, Joe, Magnussen, Norris, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Tsunoda, Fittipaldi, Albon, De Vries and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And Anthony Davidson joins us for this one. And great to have your company. There's no weather to worry about here. What will be going through the drivers' minds as they finish these last-minute preparations?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1. A bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Thanks, gents. Here we are. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is upon us. 5 red lights. Go out. And it's time to really swing the sword at our opponents in Saudi Arabia. to the inside of Stroll. We get a great start, and we send Gasly to the shops as well into turn 1. Can we get it stuck? We actually bang wheels there. Not ideal at all, and actually he gets a great exit. Gasly, very robust defense. We check for front wing damage. Luckily, I don't think we've got any on our wagon, and so we continue our progress through the first sector. A really quick check of the vehicle condition through sector 1. My god, multitasking male. Surely not. But anyway, as my voice has a skill issue, we get through sector 1 absolutely fine. Oh, never mind. Stroll's going to absolutely salami us here. That's not on the script at all. But we are going to just push him a bit wide. In fact, the outside line is not optimal, and we do keep P9 for now. And let's take a breath. Gasly has actually shot off into the distance. Our strategy is a one-stop. It's mediums to hards this race, because I think the attrition, the tyre wear, is going to be way too high to do anything. And as we go down this next straight, they've actually updated Jeddah, as you can see. I probably mentioned this in my last to first. I can't remember. It's been about 6 years. But the point is, as we go, actually, no, we go very wide. Sorry, we're going to have to hold that thought for a second here. We have to check. I checked the weather. Is it going to rain in Saudi Arabia? No, it isn't. Melon. But good news. Actually, no, it's bad news. Stroll's getting... No, it's not even Stroll. Guan Yu Zhou's come out of nowhere to cook us a Chinese. But actually, we're going to send him out wide towards the barrier. And he doesn't like meeting barrier. So Stroll gets him back as Verstappen, well, looks about eating up the miles, unfortunately. He seems imperious once again in the F1 game. But now a breath. We can actually look at the start and let's see what Leclerc did. Did he get... No, he didn't. Oh my goodness. A terrible start for the Ferrari man. The Monegasque has been absolutely mauled, and his teammate's going to send a siesta to the outside. Sainz feeling like he has an opportunity, but the outside line in turn 2, the momentum is in the Monegasque's favour, and he does manage to reclaim his P2, but Verstappen already has a monumental lead as Hamilton defends from Alonso into the first sector. Does actually manage to get the job done, and so Alonso has to settle in for P7. There we are, just in the background, trying to chase down Pierre Gasly, and that's what our next mission is now, onto lap number 2. We've actually managed to equalise the gap, stabilise it a little bit between ourselves and Stroll, and now we can just focus on driving the damn car, which is probably what we should do as an F1 driver, but, you know, it didn't really cross my mind until now. So, through that corner there, if you get it right, that little section after the sweeping left feels great. If he just nearly kissed the barrier, Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with, well, courtesy of him being first and it only being lap number 3 of this Grand Prix. DRS enabled on this lap, and we are in pursuit of the flying Frenchman. Not really flying because he's in P8. Hamilton and Alonso, by the way, fighting. Alonso actually gets the better of Hamilton. They started on softs, and I'd be shocked if they were doing a one-stop, because surely not. The tyre wear provisionally looked lethal. As we go wide into that right-hander, the car skates out towards, well, Australia, our next race, to be honest with you. It's nowhere near the apex, but with DRS, we do manage to save our bacon a little bit, suck up the slipstream, and with a big suck should come a big reward. Gasly, we are in pursuit of the Alpine man as he looks to, well, capitalise on Alonso and Hamilton fighting as Hamilton retakes Alonso for P6. We're getting disjointed from the rest of the field as well. Both the Ferraris and Russell are catching Max Verstappen. I believe Perez is in that train somewhere. Can't quite see him because my resolution is minus 65p. Anyways, our simmering strength so far needs to turn into a bit of a boil, because at the moment, we're not really catching up to Gasly, and we're just bringing Stroll along with us, and even Guan Yu Zhou sticking to the back of the Alpha Aston Martin man. I know what I'm doing. There's a yellow flag, though. Bad news for one of the drivers. What on earth's happened there? Oh, no! Oh, no! It's an Alfa Romeo! Valtteri Bottas is out of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's 2 failures in 2 races for the Ferrari unit. That's not good news for them at all, and that's going to make their main men for that matter, very nervous indeed. They could be on the brink of an engine failure and they wouldn't even know it. Their car's looking very brittle indeed. But we don't care about that. We're going to focus our attention on Pierre, because we are half a second behind the Alpine. We're opening DRS, and on this lap in particular, we got a great exit out of that section before these 2 long straights. Although this is a corner, so it doesn't really count. Into the hairpin, though. Brake as late as you dare. Hope the front just pinches in. And on the exit, don't spin up the wheels too much. Rear tyres are such a limitation. Not according to the tyre wear graph. But with DRS wide open, we are closer than we've ever been. And this is our moment to strike. As down the inside we go of Gasly into turn 1. We squeeze him out. And that ladies and gentlemen, is P8. We double our points tally. And now Alonso and Hamilton are next on our hit list. And look at these two. They're fighting very hard indeed. Hamilton going to the inside of his old nemesis. These two, great friends in 2007. Absolute best of friends. Let's be honest with you. We skate out wide a little bit into the hairpin, but we had such momentum. I was trying to avoid Alonso, to be honest with you. DRS wide open. We are not going to use battery. We're going to be cunning here. We're going to save our electricity. Duracell Bunny is creaming himself in delight. And Hamilton and Alonso fighting side by side could get us involved. Alonso doesn't get the exit he wants. We look to the outside. The slipstream says yes, please. And to the inside we go. Down the inside of the Aston Martin driver. It's annihilation. And the Spaniard has been sent to the favelas. And we are through into P7. We triple our points tally in a matter of laps from P9 to P7. We go wider than my mum into that corner, though, when we've exceeded track limits. And, well, rightly so, to be honest with you. We were in a different city compared to this track. DRS open on Lewis Hamilton, though. My throat is going, I apologise, but really, Saudi Arabia, all the madness and chaos in the world happens there. There's a Ferrari and a Mercedes fighting there. There's a Ferrari leading. Oh my goodness me, that spiced things up. Verstappen doesn't in fact have it all his own way this race, as most leading drivers don't in Saudi Arabia. DRS plays such a stronghold on this race, and if you get it, there's a strong chance that you overtake, as we are doing now. Slipstream, and it's textbook. It's easy as you like. We've understood the assignment, and we've got a star on it as we promote ourselves now to P6. 8 points to our name, and this is incredible stuff here. We continue our strong progress up the field, and what a start it's been in just 7 laps. Oh no! Oh, it's terrible news. Hamilton goes round the outside of us, and DRS, I told you it was strong, but Hamilton has sucked the slipstream so hard, we've been sent to the, well, opposite side of the globe, quite frankly. That was meteoric speed, but we are going to get stratospheric slipstream and deploy the devilishly good DRS and retake our P6. And actually, if we play our cards right, we could be very smart about this as we go through turns 1 and 2. Look at this. What's this? Sainz and Russell are having a little scrap, eh? That's great news. They're bringing us down to our level. And that's good news, because we can make our points tally even bigger now. Through Sector 1 we go. The mediums are fairly worn currently, which is why I'm surprised Hamilton's even keeping up with us. Because surely those softs have been casseroled here. Through the left-hander we go, and a big slide there. Great save. But it means Hamilton has the prime opportunity, and he's going to blaze it round the outside. And as you can see, we don't fight it. There's really no point. We've got such a bad exit, and if we battle it, we're just going to be holding each other up here. We need to think smartly about this. And with DRS open, look at the speed. My goodness me. As we nearly chop across him, and thank God we didn't, because he had such an overspeed there. His confidence on the brakes is absolutely unrivaled, and that's what we need here.
Hamilton's behind you now. Okay, they're on old softs. Their tyres are 8 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. Time last lap was a 1:32.6.
Sorry? One stop? What the fuck? Surely he's not going from softs to mediums. I mean, that'd be preposterous. He'd be the mentalist on the mediums. But anyway, if he surely is going on to hards, is the point I'm trying to say. But his softs are still in great form, and he's still able to blaze past us. And oh no, Padre's here as well. He's going to take us to school, but somehow, for some reason, does not go for a move. I didn't move that much as well. I don't know if I just deterred him by staying in the middle of the track towards the corner. But really, I didn't cause that much danger to him, so I'm surprised he did not just send it with the overspeed. And as a result, we're going to use our DRS again, but this time not overtake Hamilton. We know our place. His softs clearly work way too well as Russell and Sainz continue to bring themselves down to our pace. Great news for us as we continue to use our DRS tactics to good effect here as we enter lap number 11 of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Stroll's made his way up to P9 meanwhile. Our pit lap is this lap. Provisionally, we might actually change that as Perez comes into the pits. He's going on to the mediums. So actually, it's not completely out of the question a soft medium strategy. I don't believe this. What kind of tyre wear? I was going to say hacks, but really the top teams just have that better tyre wear from the get-go. They're kinder on the tyres. They caress them into life and caress them throughout the entire stint. And that's why I say chassis is going to be so important for us. Not only would you have a lighter car under you a more responsive car, but you'd also have a car that just massages its tyres into the operating window and carefully brings them into their window. Carefully gets them through the stint as Hamilton gets into the pits. And this will be interesting to see what tyres he's on. You can't see them, so I can't confirm it, but I believe he's on mediums. So unbelievably, the AI are going to do what I thought was impossible. Softs to mediums in this race. I thought surely mediums and hards would have been the go-to strategy because there was no way. We actually extended our pit window by a lap, by the way. Because, well, partially because I thought the overcut would be powerful, but also because I was scared my hards weren't going to properly make it. Leclerc enters the race just behind the Red Bull. So they're in hot combat there. We get a perfect turn in. Our pit crew's got to get to work. You know how they did. Oh, you absolute fucking lemons. Why do I bother? Why do I employ you? Someone's getting sacked in the morning, and it's those guys on the front left. Because clearly, they can't change a tyre for a bag of chips. So as a result, we lose out to Hamilton, but blissfully, we don't lose out to Fernando Alonso. We deploy ERS on the exit. The Duracell Bunny is now crying, but we are flying high as we enter our, well, rightfully back into, well, provisionally P9, but we should be, once all is said and done, I believe P7. Which is absolutely fine by me as we go wide immediately. These tyres are really not up to it. Luckily, Alonso hasn't got anything to respond with, and so we say no you, and we remain in P9. And immediately, I just want to point out, look at the tyre wear, 2% already, and we're on hards. So I have no idea how in God's greenest earth, which isn't very green currently, how Hamilton, Alonso, Perez and co are even keeping their tyres in the right window. Anyway, Alonso's gone, basically. Aston Martin have astonished us with their pace and their tyre wear. But now we play it smart. We use our intergalactic, in fact, no, universal-sized brain. And we are going to jockey Alonso's DRS. We're going to pikey the slipstream, head to the outside, lift off early. Because there's another straight, and where there's another straight, there's more DRS. Alonso makes a mistake, actually goes wide. I have to be careful because the detection point was slightly later, and I think we got it. Yes, we did. DRS wide open. Hamilton's cooking on his mediums, by the way. I don't understand how on earth he's doing that, but hopefully we can start bringing our hards to the stewing point, and we can really put some pace on. Sainz and Hamilton are fighting tooth and nail for their positions. Look at this. On the track, oh, never mind, Alonso's completely gazumped us. Hamilton does take Sainz, by the way. The DRS so powerful here, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another fastest lap to his name. Meanwhile, we just have to hope we can hang on to Alonso, because look at the exit he got. My God, Hamilton does get the fastest lap. In other news, we don't set our personal best for some reason. The hards just aren't clicking for us currently, which isn't great news. Sainz and Hamilton having a massive dogfight up ahead, hopefully losing quite a bit of time to us. They do lose 3 tenths in just that first section, if not more. Through that one corner anyway, through turn 2. They lost time hand over fist. And now we need our fists of ham to really bring the meat to Mr. Man here. Fernando Alonso. We're about to get prosciuttoed, my friend. I've been to Italy. I know meat. And round the outside we go. It's absolutely textbook. And that is P7. This is what we fight for now. The Alpines behind aren't going to catch us. Ocon also has done the medium-hard strategy. He's a madman. He's a complete madman. Alonso, meanwhile, with DRS, goes to the outside. We're going to have to fight this into the braking zone. No, we don't. The overspeed was just so great. And really, there was nothing we could do. We're fighting with absolutely everything we have. And Alonso has the answers. Meanwhile, look at this. Hamilton and Sainz really going into combat now. They are keeping up with George Russell, but it's a clean pass for the Mercedes man. P4 and 5 provisionally for the team, which would be fantastic once again for them. Hamilton, of course, got his first podium of the season last time out. The Red Bulls were impenetrable, for lack of a better term. But Hamilton managed to capitalise on Carlos Sainz's misfortune and claim P3, and he's hoping he can push for even better results this year. Meanwhile, we're hoping for better against Alonso. We think about getting him on the brakes, but nothing doing there. Once again, the overspeed just not enough. Our hards are beginning to cook, meanwhile. We are cooking, I mean. Not our hards are beginning to roast away, because that's bad. But luckily for us, as Alonso's mediums wear out, the crossover begins. And where the crossover begins, we could get a big win. In this case, it's P7. It's not the biggest win in the world, but we'll have to take it. We gazump Alonso round the outside. That's step 1, here on lap 17. Step 2, is defending from him down this straight, pending we get a good exit, which we do. We get a decent exit, and this could prove to be our opportunity to scamper away now. As the crossover happens, we could really exercise our car's pace. Alonso can't get near us. His exit really wasn't good enough, and suddenly we are looking extremely good through turns 1 and 2 then. And we're going to watch through Sector 1 because, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce that we absolutely shot through this first sector. As you can see, 7/10 the gap. It increases even more as we go through the lefts and the rights, as we get as close to the wall as possible. When you get this right, you really get it right. Our gap now, 7.5 tenths between us and the Padre. And at the end of the lap, oh yes, we are out of the RS range. This was perfection, and now we're looking extremely comfortable for P7 in this race. And I can take a breath and I can rest my voice because I've got so much phlegm in here, you could probably fill a swimming pool with it. That's disgusting. Anyway, lap number 20 of this race. Hamilton and Sainz still in combat, but unfortunately, they're not actually fighting side by side. They're just DRS training each other, as there's a big battle going on behind. Norris and Stroll fighting and jostling for P9. Switcherooing all the time. Meanwhile, Aston Martin, of course, could get a double points finish today if Stroll plays his cards right, which, well, it's Stroll. Have you seen this man? Through Sector 1, though, we actually get it really clean on the nose, and this is the race situation. As our race relaxes, Perez actually leads, and he's on medium, so his strategy's gone extremely well. It's a Red Bull 1-2, as Leclerc has not been able to keep up, unfortunately, with Verstappen. But these three behind them, Sainz, Russell, and Hamilton, are fighting away furiously for P4, as much of the spoils as they can be willing to scrap for. Meanwhile, in P7, we are in a world of our own. No cars near us, in front of us, or behind us. Partial skill issue and partial brilliance. I'll take it. As we enter now lap number 22. The gap's actually stabilised between ourselves and Alonso at 2.3 seconds, which I'll take. That's absolutely great stuff, because we now have a good cushion where we can just relax and cruise it home for the rest of this race. That's what you need to do in Jeddah. And look at this. We actually have to get out of the steering in the right-hander, otherwise we knock into the wall, and that really changes the complexion of our race. But here, on the penultimate lap, ladies and gentlemen, things get exciting for P10, the final points paying position. Ocon with DRS goes to the inside, he gets the move done, he's gone wide, and through goes Lando Norris, the McLaren man, into the points once again in this season. And pending he keeps it all together, he actually could get P10, but of course there's another straight. Ocon could go for it. He darts one way and the other. He doesn't deter Norris, though. And the final points paying position will stay in the McLaren's favour. He played his cards right today. Stroll is down in P12. One man played all his aces today, though. Didn't put a single foot wrong. And as he comes out the final corner for the second time this year, Sergio Perez wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's 2 for 2. The Middle East is in his back pocket. He stamps his authority over Max Verstappen. But for us, still, even though it was a bit lonely towards the end, I will admit, we're not quite on that same ferocity that we had in Bahrain. Our pace was ferociously good. But in Saudi Arabia, we pick up the spoils and we come P7 here. A brilliant drive from us with some sublime overtaking. We had to be intelligent. We had to think about what we did today. We had to really calculate our moves. But in the end, we made the most of our opportunities and we come out with a great reward. More points on the table.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Just like real life then, Red Bull are running riot. Sergio Perez wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, as I mentioned before, but there's a new man joining the fray. Charles Leclerc taking his first podium for Ferrari in their crusade to try and topple the dominant Bulls. they're charging towards yet another Constructors' Championship perhaps. But that's for you to find out as the season goes on. For now, though, it's looking pretty glum for the rest of the grid. But for us, meanwhile, the story of the day, 2 points finishes in a row. And Ribena Racing look to continue their amazing progress. P7 with our P5 combined, we now lie on 17 points. I can do maths. 17 points. Meanwhile, the man who finished P5 today, Lewis Hamilton, gets the fastest lap. So maybe P5 is the lucky number. If you finish there, you guarantee the fastest lap, let's be honest. Looking down the rest of the grid then, Alonso does finish in P8, obviously. I mean, he was in no man's land himself, really. Gasly in P9 broke away from the train, and thank goodness he did. What a dogfight to the end, as Lando Norris did manage to hold on in his McLaren and claim 1 point to his name in Saudi Arabia. Ocon, of course, just missed out through his own mistake. Pillock. Lance Stroll also pillock, because my god, I told you he should have played his cards right, but unfortunately didn't use his galaxy brain, instead used his petit pois brain, and ends up in P12. Magnussen, of course, in that train as well. Haas and AlphaTauri, Yuki Tsunoda, looking to improve. Oh, for God's sake. No joke. No, actually, right. Listen, Enzo, how are you finishing behind Nick De Vries? Are you kidding? That man is literally a slug. Well, it looks like I'm deadlifting my team once again then. Not ideal. At least Oscar, when he was in our team last year, actually did score a point for us. But it looks like Enzo is increasingly less likely to do anything. So that's great, really. I'm so looking forward to the rest of this season with him. Anyway, let's look at the standings. Perez, of course, leads the Drivers' Championship. He has a full collection of 2 victories to his name. Verstappen has 2 second places to his name. Hamilton stays 3rd in the standings with Sainz 4th. Ourselves still in 5th, but Russell, Leclerc, and even Fernando Alonso, to be honest, they are still snapping at our heels. So it's not all set in stone just yet. Everywhere else, Lando Norris increases his points tally by 1 point. Gasly gets 2 points on the board for himself. Bunch of drivers yet to score points, but it's early days and anything can happen in this season. As we look at the Constructors' standings, Red Bull already have a 44-point lead over Mercedes, then Ferrari, and ourselves, with me deadlifting and bench pressing the team, are in P4, ahead of Aston Martin and their 2 drivers. That makes me feel smug. And so concludes our race weekend. We are up to acclaim level 4 now. Enzo's 6 is... I've got nothing. He's just shit. Oh, yes! 2 upgrades have been winched onto our wagon. I am squealing with delight, because as we head into the Australian Grand Prix weekend, our next race, that could prove to be a very good set of upgrades. Of course, we're going to host the guest. Come along and join the fun. See our Ribena Racing machine blend the others down into a compressed smoothie and flush them into the sewage. We are now not the second slowest car. We're slowly closing up to the midfield. And as we head down under, we could send everyone's heads into a spin. But that'll do it. That'll do it for My Team Career Mode for today. Thank you so much for watching part 2. If you did enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single one of my uploads and you can keep to date, especially with the My Team journey. Will there be any madness down under in Australia? Well, maybe, actually. But that's for you to find out. Until then, once again, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I'll see you soon.